Hello, in this video we will take a look at how do we use functions in PowerShell. Now before that, let's first understand what function is in PowerShell. Function helps to define a code of block that needs to be executed multiple times. Function helps to streamline and divide big or a large chunk of code into the meaningful segments. A code of block inside the function does not execute unless you really call that function. Function can have no argument or can also have one or more arguments. Arguments are also referred as the parameters. Function may or may not return any value. If it returns value, then the return value from the function can be stored in the variable at the time of calling that function. The best practice about the function naming convention in PowerShell is to use verb and noun syntax. So, with this understanding, let's deep dive and understand the function in PowerShell. So, we are into PowerShell and let's write a function. So, to write a function, we will use the word function first and then follow the naming convention. So let's go ahead and write a function that add numbers, and we will be defining two parameters, so the opening bracket and the closing bracket. Within that we will define num1, and then we also going to have num2. So we will define number1 and number2, two parameters, and you need to prefix the $sign for these two parameters. Now what are we going to do within the function? So the opening braces and the closing curly braces. Alright, now what we want to add these two numbers. So first let's do num1 plus num2, and we want to store it into a variable, so $total equals to, and now let's also return the total. Okay, so we have defined our function. Let's put some indentation for a better readability. Now it's time to call this function. Alright, so let's call this function. We will say add numbers. You can see the IntelliSense is giving us the hint, so let's use this. Now the way we want to pass is to define dash num1. These are the named parameters. As a best practice, we pass this, and then our first number, which is 9, and then you put number 2, and then let's give 10. Let's go ahead, hit run, and as we can see the result is 19. Okay, so let's copy this, let's paste one more time, and then let's just change some numbers and hit run, and we can see again the results 19 and 39. So function is helping us to just define it one and then pass a parameters and then call it again and again as many number of times as we want as a part of our requirement. Now let's change a function a little bit that helps us to play around with the parameters a little bit more. So let's put some changes around. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking this out for now, and let's write down a param that is a parameter of the function. Okay, so let's put some indentation. This is param. We want to define the parameters, opening bracket and closing bracket. Okay, and within this we want to specify the data type of the parameter. Okay, so we are specifying the first parameter is integer, and that will be our num1, put comma. Similarly you also define int and then have number 2. Okay, now that's a simple change that we have made, but it allows us to define specifically around the parameters and also allows us define the data type of the parameters. So let's go ahead and execute this, just to make sure that the function still works without an issue, and as we can see, it is still working as expected. This change also allows us an opportunity to put a default value for a parameter. Let's see, we're going to be putting some default values for number 2. So let's say equals to 10. Now what that means is, if I do not supply number 2, it will assume, or it will default a value of the number 2 to 10 because that's what we have assigned. And if we supply a value, that it would take the value supplied for the second parameter and then count that. So here, as we can see in the first example, while I am calling the function, I am explicitly calling out the number 2 as 15. So it will override the default value. And in the second example, I am not specifying the second parameter at all. So what that means is number 2 is going to be assumed as 10. So let's go ahead, hit run, and as you can see, the first answer is 24 and the second is 29. It is calculated based on the default value or the value that we have passed. Now let's just remove the last line. Okay, let's do one validation. Let's remove both the parameters. Okay, let's remove both the parameters. Now we have no parameters applied to this function. Let's hit run, and you can see the result is 10. Of course, the second parameter has a default value, but the first parameter really does not have any value, and still it's returning 10. So it's indicating the first is ignoring, considering as 0 plus 10, and is giving the total result as 10. Now we really have not supplied the first argument, first parameter. So what has really happened? Because we have not, and this is actually working because we have not really supplied that number 1 has to be mandatory. Okay, so let's now define a validation that you cannot really call add numbers unless you must specify number 1. Number 2 is still having a default value, which is fine if you don't supply it, but number 1 is something which you have to supply when you call the add numbers. So let's see how do we actually define parameter as a mandatory. So to do that, what we need to do is we need to put a bracket. Parameter is something that we will write. In the bracket, we will say mandatory equals to $true. Bracket over, big bracket over, and that's it. Now let's go ahead and hit run, and we expect, and as we see, it is now asking to supply number 1, because now we have really said that you cannot execute this number unless you supply this. So we need to supply the number. Let's apply, hit enter, and we get the result 20. Okay, now let's supply number 1 here itself. So we are now putting the number 1 value here. Let's put 50. We are ignoring number 2. Let's hit run, and we see 60, and it does not ask now because we really have supplied the first parameter and a value. Now let's say if you would like to validate that number 1 must be between 10 and 50. It cannot be any value outside of this range. That is also possible by using something called validate range. So let's put that. Let's go here. Let's put validate range. Okay, between 10 and 50. Okay, so this value should be fine because it is within the range. Let's put 55, which is not in the range, and we get the error that cannot validate the argument. The 55 is greater than the maximum allowed range of 50. Okay, so this is how it also allows us to make sure that the supplied value must be within the valid range. Let's take a look at some of the more validation parameter attributes that you can supply. The first is validate not null or empty. This is to make sure that the parameter value is not null or empty. Validate range, which we just saw as an example, to make sure that the parameter value is within a valid range. Validate set, this is more for a string parameter to make sure that it is one of the specified set of values. So you can really specify the string value should be out of the mentioned set. And then you also have an advanced validate script. You can write a script block that actually validates the parameter value. So for example, if you would like to validate mobile phone number, so it can validate if the supplied value is a correct and is the valid phone format, then only you can proceed with that, or else it can throw the error. So I hope this simple tutorial helped you to understand function in PowerShell and different aspects that are related to the function. I thank you for watching the video.